Hey guys, welcome to Show for Gamers. This is episode 9. Today we're going to be talking basically about Overlord 2. So if you haven't played the first Overlord, basically here's the gist of it. You're the Dark Overlord. You use your minions to basically wreak havoc and destroy shit basically and take over towns, either enslave, kill pedestrians, kill stupid small creatures like bunnies and squirrels and even baby seals. There's 4 types of minions that you can control. There's the Browns, and they're basically a heavy melee combat. They're just your fighters. I love having these guys in big masses and just cleaning house. You have the Reds. They're a little less durable, so they get killed a little easier. But the cool thing about these guys is, one, they can absorb fire, so you can get past fire barriers, and they can throw fireballs, so they're basically your ranged fighters. So they're awesome for taking out guys from a long distance. And there's actually enemies in the game that are susceptible to more fire attacks, so they're the enemy, that you want to use your Reds on. Greens, I think, are going to be a lot of people's favorites. They're basically the stealth fighters. They can become invisible. They're awesome at stealth attacks, and there's really big enemies like gigantic panda bears and these really annoying like laser dudes. With those guys, if you can get your greens on their back, they'll hack through their health in seconds. So greens are awesome, but they're a little bit more strategy based, and they're still not as strong as browns. Browns are still the strongest minion you have. Now your weakest minion is the blues, and they're really not fighters. You really never want to send them into combat. But the reason you're going to have them is they're the only minion that can swim. They can resurrect other minions right there on the battlefield, and they can actually phase through enemy opponents and just avoid combat entirely. So they're very unique. They're very different. Some cool additions, if you never played the first game, that are now in this game, or if you have played the first game and now you're playing this game, some cool additions. Basically, one of my biggest pet peeves with the first game was you take your browns or your reds or whatever, and you'd run around collecting all this little armor for them, and you'd have this big 40 minion legion all decked out in this crazy armor, and they look so cool. Well, if one of those guys died, they were dead, and then you'd have to replace him with a minion with no armor and retry to get that minion all his armor. Well, in this one, you can resurrect individual minions in your Dark Tower and bring them back, so you can come back and always have your same 40 dudes, 20 dudes, whatever you want. You can always have the exact same combination. So it gets more personal with the minions. And the area you can do this in is basically the minions hollow, where you put each minion hive and you get to see the minions walking around doing blah blah blah, which is kind of cool. I mean, it's kind of, oh, here they are, here they're living when they're not killing stuff and they're not working for you. It's a little fun thing. The game's full of humor. Mermaids in this game are big, fat, gross chicks. Same thing with the elf maidens. They're these big, pompous ladies. It's really gross. You can have multiple mistresses in this one now. Things that are the same as upgrading your tower, forging different types of armor, using magical stones and sacrificing your minions. The magic in this one is also big time better, I think. You have the electricity attack, but all magic is cut in half basically. So you can basically either electrocute people to death, or you can shock them into being slaves. So you can either be just complete destroy everything Overlord, or you can be an Overlord that basically, domineers, and enslaves the world. So that's kind of up to you which way you want to play that. And your spells change depending upon what type of Overlord you are. So the electricity can become, you can capture multiple people, or if you're a destruction-based Overlord, you can basically kill them instantaneously really fast. Other spells, you can throw your minions and charge them up like rockets. There's one that I thought, I'm like, thank God they have this now, is basically you charge up all of your minions and just make them stronger. There's other cool stuff like big shockwaves and everything. Complaint I have is the Overlord still moves incredibly slow. And there's a lot of searching the levels, even though the levels are kind of linear, there's multiple paths. And since there's a lot of searching, he just moves so slow. So, in my opinion, so you gotta kind of have patience. And this too isn't a game. There's a lot of puzzle stuff to it. A really cool part I encountered was basically there's a big stealth section where you use your green minions and just stealth through this huge castle. That's another cool thing they added. You get to possess and be a minion during certain sections of the game. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. But, I mean, the humor's still intact. The art's still intact. Graphics are just a little bit better. Little additions like your Browns can ride on wolves and stuff like that. Like, little things here and there, I think, make the game better than the original. But then again, it still is Overlord, and it's still so much Overlord that sometimes it feels like I'm playing Overlord 2.0 instead of Overlord 2. So, a cool thing they added, I thought, was being able to go back to, like, quote-unquote, the Wasteland, which is basically areas from the last game, and you get to refine pieces of the Tower Heart. So, and I don't think the explanation you get in the game isn't good enough to really justify what you're doing. So you kind of need to play Overlord 1 to really appreciate that section, I think. But, I mean, that's up to you. You can check that out. But yeah, so, I mean, in the end, it's a very niche game. It's more for strategy people or people that liked Overlord in the first place. So, we're going to give it a 6 for the show for gamers. Basically, we're in the very dry times of gaming right now. Summer, there's not a lot of stuff coming out. We got Batman Arkham Asylum coming up. I think it's in August. But for this month, I'll be reviewing Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. So, kids, watch that. But the big thing, we're probably going to have a 2 or maybe 3-part episode with all 4 of my brothers when the Gears of War All Fronts map packs and Dark Corners maps come out. So we're going to be covering the campaign and all the maps and all that stuff. So that should be pretty cool. And I might actually even do a Disney movie-based game review later on. But now's the time to send us some emails. Let us know what you want us to review. You can hit us at the gamershow@yahoo.com. Subscribe again, guys. Give us 5 stars. Hope you liked the 4th of July episode. We like shooting it. It was pretty much really, really fun. So, excuse me. Yep, so next episode is finally episode 10. It's going to be a surprise what we're reviewing. Probably Harry Potter, I'm thinking, maybe. We'll see. You can expect that next Friday, probably. But next episode, episode 10, TX97, Ignites. Check it out.